Good morning everyone, hello and welcome along to the Sports Corner Live. We are back once again for another live watch along on the YouTube channel, and what a massive game this is in the Championship. It is an early afternoon fixture between Rotherham United and Birmingham City, and well, if you haven't seen the Championship table, we will go through it in a little moment's time, but this is a detrimental game for the Mighty Millers. I am a Rotherham fan, hence why I'm very nervous for this game. As for Birmingham, they do have a chance today, I feel personally, in my opinion, to pretty much secure survival. As I said, we will go through the table in a few moments' time. But if you are new to the stream, as always, please don't forget to leave a like and a subscription on the channel. We are pushing towards 2,100 subscribers, so it would be very greatly appreciated for those of you that haven't subbed already to do so. But welcome along. Here we go. Fresh cut, of course, because the hairdressers are now open in the UK, which is an absolute blessing in disguise. But more importantly, we have a massive game on our hands today. As I said, Rotherham United, who found themselves in a very precarious position after their defeat against Coventry on Thursday. Literally 3 days after what was being dubbed as the biggest game for the Millers, is now another big game for the Millers 3 days afterwards. It's a massive, massive game, and when we look at the table, you'll see in a second just how crucial it is in terms of Rotherham picking up 3 points today. A point could be good enough, but I think at this stage you've got to go out there and win. But without further ado, kickoff is at 12. Russ is in the building. How are you doing, my good friend? Hi, Josh. Good luck to the Millers today, mate. Thank you very much, Russ. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can have another Sheffield Wednesday moment again with a 90th minute winner to go mental. But let's take a look at the two teams first before we actually get this game underway and we look at the table. Let's start off with the Rotherham United side. Now, it is a 5-3-2 today. However, it could be seen as a 3-5-2 basically. Wes Harding and Clark Robertson, they're the wide players. Now, it's actually, I believe, Wes on the right and Clark on the left. But they're acting as wide midfielders according to Sky. The back three, definitely is Michael Hiikwe, Angus MacDonald and Richard Wood. Clark Robertson, of course, was actually dropped in the last game. I assume to be rested after Rotherham have played 4 games in the space of 8 days. It is a very, very big week of action for Rotherham United. Midfield 3, or technically you could say the midfield 5 if you include Harding and Robertson in there. You've got Sean McDonald, you've got Lewis Wing on loan from Middlesbrough. Funnily enough, Neil Warnock is there today. And then Matt Crooks as well. And then up top you've got Freddie Ladapo and you've got Michael Smith. Those two, I think a lot of Rotherham fans don't like them being put together. I think a lot of people say they don't work. It'll be interesting to see how they do play today. And then on the bench, you've got the likes of Jamal Blackman on loan from Chelsea. You've got Kieran Sadlier, who's I don't think's had enough game time as a Rotherham fan. And then you've also got George Hurst, who is on loan from Leicester City. So that is the Rotherham United lineup. Let's take a look at the Birmingham lineup, and we'll start off with the goalkeeper, Neil Everidge, former Cardiff man. He's been very important in between the sticks for Birmingham over the last few days. I think he's had 3 clean sheets in his last 5, if I'm correct. Back 3 of Christian Pedersen, Harley Dean and Mark Roberts. And midfield 4, you've got Steve Seddon on the left with Maxine Collin on the right. Ivan Sunjic and Gary Gardner, they have been the ever-present midfield this season for Birmingham. They are in the midfield. Riley McGree will be acting as the central attacking midfielder. And then up top, you've got Lukas Jukcevic and Jonathan Leko, who Leko has not been a favourite with the fans, I'm not going to lie, over the last few days. So what's the chances he goes and bags today? Probably likely. On the bench, you've got Scott Hogan, you've got Mikel San Jose, who thought he'd ever be playing against Rotherham. Mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. But there's the lineups for today's game. The real question, of course, is how does the table look? This is the table as it currently stands. So, depending on what happens in this game tonight, if Rotherham were to win, it could mean that Sheffield Wednesday and Wycombe could be relegated later this next week. So, big game this is, not just for the teams above Rotherham, but for the teams below, because they have a real opportunity here to maybe go and actually relegate Wednesday and Wycombe. As for Rotherham, they're currently sat 22nd in the league. They're on 39 points. A win would put them 1 point behind Derby County with 2 games in hand. However, for Birmingham, if they win today, then it will put them 9 points ahead of Rotherham United in that bottom 3. And then I would probably be saying, if you are a Birmingham fan, you're probably safe. I can't see Birmingham, especially with the form that they've had recently, dropping 9 points at the rest of the season. So I think Birmingham will be safe. But for Rotherham United, a point would put them 3 behind Derby with 2 games in hand. It's not bad, but it's also not exactly what you want at this latter stage of the season. So I think a lot of people are really hoping today that Rotherham can go out there and get a victory. And as a Rotherham fan, I bloody hope we do, because we need it right now, especially with the end of the season slowly creeping towards us. And those games in hand that we do have are slowly diminishing away. We had 4 games, we're now down to 2. Very shortly going to be 1. But we are having a minute's silence here for the Duke of Edinburgh. I know they've been doing this over the last week in the EFL and the Premier League. But Carl's in the building. He's put, "Hey Josh, how are you?" I'm very good indeed. Very, very good. Hope Rotherham win for you. Thank you very much, Carl. You're an absolute legend. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Rotherham can go out there and get a victory today, because we absolutely need it at this stage of the season. So the minute silence is done. The referee, I think, just having to go over and sort out his equipment for a second. But otherwise, once that's all sorted and good, we will be getting underway with this game in the Championship. And what a day of football it is. There's games left, right and centre today. We've got the Old Firm at 3 o'clock. We've got F1 a little bit later on this afternoon as well with Rome. The Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, that's on at 3 o'clock. So it's a really good day of sport, as we have the moment there to take the knee, of course, to stand for racism. But without further ado, the players are back up on their feet, and we are about to get underway in this game between Rotherham United and Birmingham City. And for any Rotherham United fan, this could be the end of a relentless week, and it could end in pretty much misery, or it could end with a little bit of excitement and anticipation to whether Rotherham United can or cannot stay up, as there's a ball lofted in from Maxime Collin towards Lukas Jutsevic, and very nearly Birmingham City already having a chance early on within the first 20 seconds of the game. And I'll tell you something, the last thing you want to be seeing is all these early chances coming to Birmingham's way. And it's a good cross in the box from Maxime Collin, does really, really well. And I'm trying to find where's the timer? Have I gone mad? Give me 2 seconds here. I will eventually find what I need to. There we go, found it in the end. Let me move that. Looks a bit more clean then. But yeah, good chance there for Birmingham. If you did watch the game that Rotherham played a few days ago, Coventry City actually within the first 30 seconds could have had the ball into the back of the net. It was a big opportunity for the away side in their game to ultimately go on and get that important goal, which they did in the end. It was Ostergaard, the Norwegian, who put the ball into the back of the net, and it was a big goal indeed for for Coventry, sorry, because that does pretty much secure their survival unless things go tits up. But when you look around the surrounding pack of clubs in the Championship that are all looking towards this specific game, you've got the 2 teams below, Wycombe and Sheffield Wednesday, probably praying that Birmingham City can go and win this match, just to keep them with a slight hope of survival. If Rotherham do win, then Wednesday and Wycombe could actually both be down quicker than maybe some of those fans thought they would be, especially we've had both of those teams have been playing recently. Wednesday coming out with a draw against Bristol yesterday, and Wycombe with a very hard-fought 2-2 draw in that game. But overall, it should be a pretty feisty match, this one. I think when you look at Birmingham as a club, if you're a Rotherham fan, I would probably say they're going to play very similar to how Coventry did. They're a very strong side. They've got a lot of very bulky players on the pitch. You know, Jutsevic is always going to be the one player to look out for. There is going to be a free kick here for Birmingham. And no doubt Lucas will be the man that is having the ball guided toward his head. So, long throw-in actually, sorry. And it's a very good throw-in. Johansson will come out. Not convincingly cleared away by Sean McDonald. But it will go out of play for a Rotherham throw-in, which Wes Harding will take in just a moment. But they are a very bulky side at Birmingham. They are going to get as many fouls and free kicks and set pieces as they can possibly get. And look, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. Sometimes we're the same. We will go down trying to get set pieces so we can lob the ball towards Michael Smith, who always wants the ball put towards his head. He's a bulky player. He's a tall player and a target man. As we're just seeing Lee Boyer here. Won 3 of his 5 games in charge of Birmingham. Perfect start to life for the former Birmingham City player. Who's been a very, very good signing for the club after Aitor Karanka was sacked. And very deservedly so. Not been great, has he, over the last few months? Well, I'm saying few months, for years, hasn't he, Aitor Karanka? Not really had a good job for a long time now. But free kick here for Birmingham City. And this first 5 minutes, or 4 minutes technically speaking, it has been pretty much all of Birmingham so far. And I guess you could say the question will be, are these Rotherham players going to be fit enough for this match? Are they going to have enough time to be able to, have that rest, have that bit of time to put their feet up, especially after playing numerous sides this week? Coventry, QPR, just to name a few of the teams that they have played over the last week or so. They played on Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, and now Sunday. So very relentless for what is no doubt the busiest club in the Championship for games, as balls lobbed into the box towards Crooks. There is a few calls for handball, but I'd say it's pretty half-hearted from the Rotherham players. And I'm not going to lie, I would have to agree that it's very half-hearted indeed. Not really much, in my opinion, within that handball shout there for anything to be given for a penalty at the very least. As Kurt is in the building. How are we doing, my friend? He's put, hello, bro. Good to see you in the stream, as always. Hopefully, we have a good game. But I'm just looking at the handball shouts again, and he does hit his hand. And there wasn't really many shouts for a handball. I think there'll be a few people, a few Rotherham fans at the very least, shouting for that to be a handball. But look, at the end of the day, decisions are going to be made by these officials, especially in the lower divisions where things might not be as right. And you've just got to get on with it. But here's Ladapo, who takes on the shot from outside of the box. And it was watched all the way by Neil Everidge there. But Freddie Ladapo, who scored a fair few screamers over the last few weeks, including that goal against Sheffield Wednesday, which we saw a few weeks ago, just on the outside of the box, tries to curl the ball into the bottom right-hand corner of the Birmingham away goal. And he just couldn't get it in there. Not enough curl on the ball. And in the end, it's the first chance for Rotherham United. And Freddie Ladapo, 4 goals in 7 games now. He's been a very key player over the last few weeks for Rotherham United. Especially bagging 2 against QPR midweek to give them the 3-1 win. A very, very big result for the Millers. Although saying that 1-0 result against Coventry was absolute piss. And if there's any Rotherham fans in the building, then definitely do tell us. And if you're a Birmingham fan as well, do say hi in the chat. As Kurt's put, he's doing good tonight, bro. Good to hear. Glad you're all good, Kurt. As there's going to be a Birmingham free kick here. Lobbed towards Ivan Sunjic. He's not going to get it in the end. And Clark Robertson, who is playing as the right kind of wing-back today, he's going to be very, very key in the build-up to the attacks for Rotherham. If you watched against Coventry, I keep mentioning it, but the 2 full-backs that they played, Rotherham United, in that midweek game, they just did not push up the pitch as much. They were all in the middle section of the pitch. There wasn't really many opportunities down the left and the right flanks, and that was the problem, I think, for Rotherham. Using the middle of the pitch a little bit too much. They've got to utilise the space on the flanks today, specifically, to go out there and get a result. As ball's lofted in, and it will go straight to the hands of Victor Johansson. As Chris is in the building. How are you doing, buddy? You're all good. He's put, Josh has got a trim too. I have, yeah. I went to go and get my hair cut yesterday morning, and then I came back, and then Mr. K out. He was like, I need my hair cut as well, so he went. So we've all pretty much had our hair trimmed, apart from Rowan. I think he's growing his out. But Kurt saying I was just appointed as first-time moderator last week, bro. Hey, that's awesome. Congratulations, Kurt. You love to hear that. Fantastic news for you. As we're now 8 minutes into this game. And you can quite clearly see that this is going to be one of these games where I wouldn't expect this to be ending with 5-6 goals. This is going to be one of these tight matches where I think if a team is going to win this, it's probably going to be 1-0, maybe 2-1. There won't be much in this between these two sides. And for Birmingham, if I was a Birmingham fan, I would be praying to the gods that you can go out there and get the win today. 9 points on the board away from Rotherham, if you were to win, would be massive. But 8.5 minutes in here, Lukas Jutsevic has just gone down. The referee's going to go over to check. I think it was a clash of heads there. Hence why, of course, with concussion, got to make sure that he's all right. I think it was a clash of heads with Richard Wood, and just seeing it back, it was, just a clash of heads between Richard Wood, and I think it was Sean McDonald as well in there. But Richard Wood signed a new contract with Rotherham. Got a new deal now till 2022, which I think a lot of Millers fans are very happy about, as Ladapo's on the ball here. Tries to play it to Clark Robertson, and in fact Clark did very well to get the ball back there, but the referee's going to give a free kick. Matt Crooks with a foul just 2 seconds afterwards. And it's very stop-start, this game. A lot of free kicks in this early 10 minutes kind of section of the match. In fact, I'd be interested to see how many Birmingham have had so far, because Rotherham just breaking the play up quite a bit here, as we've already had 4 fouls from Rotherham in the game, and none from Birmingham, so that kind of tells you what type of game that this is going to be. But Chris saying, I'm good, thanks. Frustrated Carlisle drew 0-0. 3 draws on the bounce, 6 games unbeaten. But at least we gained a point on Newport in final playoff place. We're now 2 points behind playoffs. I think it will go down to the last game of the season, Chris. I think it will be one of those where last game you will be sat there biting your nails, wondering can you make it or not. Especially with how League 2 has been this season. It's been a crazy season, hasn't it, down there? I think even the top 3 are all fighting for the promotion spots. So that could go down to the last game of the season. There's a chance here for Birmingham to come forward, and it was a neat little flick for the moment there by Seddon, just trying to get the ball towards Lukas Jutsevic and Jonathan Lecco in the box. And here is Lecco on the left wing right now. Very pacey player. Puts a ball towards the near post. It was edged towards Maxime Collin, one of the ever-present players of this Birmingham City side. But it just couldn't get to him in the end. However, here comes Gary Gardner. Flicks it towards Lukas Jutsevic. And the ball's cleared away by Rotherham. And this is the first real opportunity, I'd have to say, for Birmingham, where they've come forward in this match. I think there was maybe a call for a Birmingham penalty. A little bit of a kick out from Wes Harding, a 50-50 for the ball. But I think there wasn't really many players calling for a penalty at the very least there. So 1 or 2 maybe refereeing decisions there. But long throw lofted in. And it's straight into the hands of Victor Johansson, the Viking as he's called. Had a fantastic game against Coventry midweek. But you can see the long throw-ins from Birmingham are going to be a real danger in this game. That's twice now we've seen Birmingham use the long throws, and he's got a ridiculously good throw on him. I think it's I don't know, is it Harley Dean who takes the long throw-ins for Birmingham, but he's got a real good amount of power on his throw. And that's why those types of throw-ins can probably be more dangerous than corners at certain points. As Kurt says, Man, you're looking to buy Central Coast Mariners. They are indeed. I heard about that. That would be massive. Because I guess what they can do then is, especially with a lot of the younger players, like how Melbourne City and Man City are linked, you can get the two clubs linking up together, and then you can send players on loan there. And I think the A-League is a great place to go for experience. I think it is a very entertaining league to watch. You know, if you're a neutral, maybe you don't watch football much, and you want to get into a league where you're guaranteed goals, then the A-League is definitely the place to go, as there's a mistake here, and a chance for Rotherham to come forward. It's Lewis Wing on the right wing, no pun intended. And good defending there by Roberts. And the ball will go out of player for a Miller's corner. It's 12 minutes on the clock here. First corner of the game for the home side. And it's a very even start to this match. I would probably say both teams having 50-50 on possession. But we know what the Millers can do. They've got a lot of players who can make the most of these set pieces. Just to name a few of them, you've got Crooks, of course. You've got Richard Wood, but the ball's lofted in. And maybe lofted a little bit too high, but it comes towards Richard Wood, who would have been offside had the ball have come to his feet. And eventually Birmingham clear it away. And now there's a chance here for Maxime Collin to come forward, but good defending from Sean McDonald, who just keeps tight to the Frenchman and makes sure that Birmingham can't hit on the break. Although saying that, here's Gary Gardner. Feeds a ball into Seddon, but the pass is a little bit too heavy from Gardner there. And it will go out of play for a Rotherham throw-in. But thumbs up from Gary Bow there. Happy with how his team have started so far. And it's very crucial, I think, in that first kind of 15-20 minutes of a match of this calibre, that you just set the tone in this game. You know, get yourself a bit of a foothold in the match. And I think that's what Birmingham have done. Rotherham, I would say in the last 5 minutes, have come to life a little bit here. Starting to get the ball, having a few opportunities to push forward. And I think the important thing for Rotherham is that they keep in this game. Especially at the latter stages of the match, when a few of these players might just be a little bit more tired than Birmingham. But free kick here for Rotherham. Ball lobbed into the box, comes towards Ihikwe. And lots of players in the box there for the Millers, but eventually it is cleared away by Seddon. Only towards Sean McDonald, who has gone down. And it will be a free kick here for Rotherham. And in a very good position to whip this into the box. So lots of set pieces in this early 15 minutes of the match. But just seeing it back again, it is the right decision there from the referee. Just a little push from Gary Gardner. And the Millers here love to capitalise on set pieces. They've had a lot of free kicks in the past that have been put into the back of the net. But as Russell said, very good start from both teams in this game. Completely agree with you. But chance here for the ball to be lofted into the box. It's towards Neil Everidge, who has actually dropped the ball. I'm surprised there the referee didn't actually call that back for a free kick. But there's a chance here either way for Birmingham to come forward. Ball lofted towards, I think it was towards McGree. But he doesn't get to him in the end. But Birmingham have got the ball back here. And a chance for Lukas Djuktovic to get his side forward. Here's Jonathan Lecco on the left wing. Going to be a tough play to come up against for Rotherham today. Got bags of pace. And he's still got the ball. Flicks it into the box. And a good header away there from Sean McDonald. But it will come back to Ivan Sunjic. Another header away from McDonald. And it will be Freddie Ladapo who comes deep to get the ball back. And there's a little moment there, I think, for Rotherham of nerves. And it was that bit of pace from Jonathan Lecco. But I'm going to stop for a second because they're coming in again. Not the greatest clearance in the world there. He's going to be Seddon on the left wing. Lovely ball into the box towards Jonathan Lecco. And that was a fantastic ball. And Jonathan Lecco, hands on his head there, must have thought that he was going to get a touch on the ball. And we're just seeing that ball into the box again. It was a really, really nice pass from Seddon. Driven low with a lot of pace into the box. And I think Richard Wood just gets the last touch, so it will be a corner. But yeah, actually, just looking back at that chance there, it wasn't really a situation where the referee would have actually given a free kick to Birmingham, because I think it was Harley Dean who just got in the way of Neil Everidge, so it could have actually ended in disaster there for Birmingham. But Darren's in the streams, but come on Blues, but wish Rotherham fans well. Thank you very much, Darren. Best of luck for today's game, my friend. As a Rotherham fan, I am nervous, but I wouldn't like to see Birmingham go down. I think Birmingham are a very good team on the day, and a stalwart of the Championship, as Freddie Ladapo looks to take on his man with a bit of trickery, but good defending in the end there by Roberts, just to keep his man away. And I think it has gone out of play for a corner, I think. But yeah, you're very welcome, Darren. You're very welcome indeed. As Chris says, Rotherham fans say they've got games in hand, but I'd rather have points on the board than relying on games in hand. Exactly. I mean, 3 points today would be big. We need them. Because if we go down to 2 games in hand, 4 points away from Derby, then I personally think that could spell nearly the end of our season. We haven't got many more games on the board, which I personally think we can win. You know, for me, this is one of these games where, on our day, if we're up and we're ready to play, and we play as good as we did, for example, against QPR, then yes, we can win it. But long ball from Sean McDonald. There was a slight flick on the ball in the end from Angus McDonald. But his header goes straight into the hands of Neil Everidge, who has been kept fairly busy in the last 5 minutes or so. But you could say the same for Victor Johansson, who's had to stay fairly alert with the chances. And I mean, I was saying earlier, I didn't think this was going to be the type of game where we'd have many goals in it. But I think when you look across the board, we've had a fair few chances from both teams so far in this match. I think it could have easily been 1-0 to Birmingham. And there could be a chance now. Bobbling ball, which Victor Johansson's going to have to claim, and he does. I'm very, very nervous for a moment there. I think for a second Richard Wood maybe about to get in the way of Victor Johansson. But the Swede stands tall and claims the ball as his own. Chris has said, do you think you will loan Josh Coyote out again after contract extension? I would take him back at Carlisle on loan again. First of all, buzzing that we've re-signed him on a new contract. Very happy about that. Second of all, I don't think we will. I think next season we'll keep him. Having him in League One would be massive. I'd be interested to see how he does there with Rotherham. But look, I think it all depends on what happens. If we lose maybe Ladapo or we lose Smith and another club comes in for one of those two, and I think maybe out of the two, maybe Ladapo is probably more likely to get a move than Smith. Then yeah, maybe I think we'd keep Coyote, but why not have all three? Fuck it. Let's have the depth. We need depth. I think we've got some fairly decent players on the bench, but we loaned out Kyle Vassell to Fleetwood, who scored yesterday. We had Jerry Yates not too long ago, and then sold him to Blackpool, and he's been doing fantastic in League One. So I think what we have to do is we have to make sure that when we get these talents and these players that we know can go on to good things, is that we make the most of them. Because I think too many times in the past, we've had good players and we've either sold them on for the cheap or we've just not given them enough time in the squad to develop as a player. And I think one of those is, as a prime example, Johnson Clark-Harris. Another player who's been incredible. But throwing here for Birmingham City, and we know what they're going to do with the tactic here. The long throw into the box as the centre-backs come forward. And it's going to be lofted in by Roberts, who's got the long throw. So that answers that question from earlier on. But it won't come to anything. Although Djuktovic he's got the ball on the right wing here. He's been marked by 3 Rotherham players. And in the end, it will go out of play for a Rotherham throw-in. Lucas Djuktovic not happy with the decision there from the linesman. But 20 minutes in, and it has been a very good start for both teams. Very lively game. Fair few opportunities for both sides to come forward here and try and get that first goal. And I do think the first goal will be very detrimental into how the rest of this game pans out. As Chris says, he's done well for Carlisle. I'll say that was only going to happen. He's a talent. I was only going to move to a bigger club than Carlisle. That's me being honest. But that's the thing. We had to sign him up to a new contract, because had we not, I think there would have been a lot of clubs swarming around him to take him. And I think there still will be. There'll be a few clubs looking out there, maybe thinking we can get him on loan. But a 4-year deal I think he signed. It's a massive deal, and I think he could do a good job with us if we do go down next season. And if we were to stay up, then keep him. Give him a go in the Championship. Why not? I think he's a brilliant player on his day. We've seen what he can do at Carlisle, banging a lot of goals this season. And it would be nice to have another goal scorer there, because when you look around at the rest of the pack, we might be a little bit higher in the league than Wednesday and Wycombe. But I think when you look at the teams around us, they've got better players, attacking-wise, in some areas. I think Wednesday, on the day, their team would probably not be in the relegation zone had they not had the point deductions and stuff. I think that kind of killed their season off before it begun. I think Wycombe have got a very good side. You know how they play. They are all about set pieces, breaking up the play. If they go 1-2-0 up, they're happy to sit back and defend. And they're a very good team. But I will say I think we've got a better attack than Wycombe. I would say, actually, in my opinion, I think we've got a few better players than maybe Derby have got to a certain extent. Although when you've got a player like Louis Sibley for the future, he's going to be one to look out for. But corner here for Rotherham. Big chance here, 22 minutes on the clock. It's going to be Wing who plays it short. Into Sean McDonald, back to Wing. Low-driven cross into the box, and it was a real chance for Rotherham to put the ball in the back of the net, and it was a real I don't even know who got a touch on the ball there. Just going to see the replay, but so many Rotherham players in the box. And it's Lewis Wing who drives a low-driven cross into the box. And it was Angus MacDonald, I think, who got the slightest touch on the ball. And it's a very faint touch. But because there's so many players lingering in the box, it was a real chance maybe for Rotherham to just try and toe poke the ball into the back of the net. But it doesn't come to anything. And it's another big chance in this game that goes wide of the mark for the Millers. And I think for a moment there, the Millers will be a little bit disappointed that they haven't been able to put the ball into the back of the net. But do you know what? They've got plenty of time in this game to get something. Same for Birmingham as well. I think you have to say, when you look at the stats of the game in the first 25 minutes, Rotherham with 46% possession, Birmingham with 54%, only one shot on target so far, which was for the Millers, but 6 shots in the game is not too bad at all. Still plenty of time. And Rotherham, they've got Middlesbrough, Barnsley, Brentford, Blackburn, Luton and Cardiff next. And I'm not going to lie, I don't think there's many games there which I look at and think we can win. I think you could maybe get something against Blackburn, maybe something against Luton. And then, look, at the end of the day, the likes of Middlesbrough and Barnsley are always going to be tough to face. But Barnsley being a Yorkshire derby, you never know. Maybe Rotherham could be the one to kill off Barnsley's playoff dreams. As the Millers look to come forward here again, it's going to be Matt Crooks. And lots of plays bombing forward here for the Millers. It's a 5-on-4. Ball lofted in towards Smith, who gets a touch on the ball. And I mean, that was a massive chance for Michael Smith to put the ball into the back of the net. It was a really good counter-attack from Rotherham. It all started with Ladapo, who just drove towards the middle of the pitch, played the ball to Crooks. And what a chance for Michael Smith. I've got to say, I think he's got to be putting that into the back of the net. Just tries to curl it into the top right, left-hand corner of the Birmingham goal. And it was a really good cross into the box from Matt Crooks. But in the end, a little let-off there for Birmingham. He must have thought there for a second that they were going to be going 1-0 down in this game. But they might actually have a chance to go 1-0 up here. As Leko's taken down by Wes Harding, and it will be a free kick here for Birmingham. And just as Rotherham United thought they were going to take the lead, there might now be a chance here for Birmingham City to go 1-0 up. And it's a bit of a poor tackle there from Wes Harding. Just pushes Leko over. Don't know what he's doing there. And funnily enough, the last game that Rotherham played, when they lost to Coventry, it was a free kick, which Wes Harding gave away, that ended up in a goal for the opposition. And now, Wes Harding has given away a free kick to the opposition. Is it about to be deja vu for Rotherham United? There's a few players standing over this for Birmingham. One of them being Gary Gardner. And you can see, in terms of most set-piece goals conceded, Rotherham actually second. With 17 set-piece goals conceded. Bristol City have conceded 21 this season. So they are the highest. And Rotherham here will be hoping that the four-man wall, which includes Ihikwe, Crooks and Smith, can stand tall and keep Birmingham City out. And I'm not going to lie, I've got a feeling here Gary Gardner might go under the wall. But Gary Gardner's going to take it, and he tries to flick it towards the top left-hand corner, but it goes over the wall, over the keeper, and out of play for a goal kick. So no deja vu this time for Rotherham. But never really getting much curl on that ball for it to dip and come down. And it was not a bad chance, but Gary Gardner, he'll know he can do much better. We know Gary and Craig, they've got some incredible set-piece abilities with free kicks and long-range efforts. And no doubt, I think he'll be hoping he could have done much better there. As Craig, literally just talked about him, Craig Gardner there, if you are watching along. Part of the backroom staff, isn't he, for Birmingham, I think, these days. Good to see the Gardners linking up together. As Chris has put, Canon Guy, who's top of assists in League 2, need to keep him at all costs, one of our most crucial players. And that's always the tough part, isn't it? When you have a player who has a ridiculously good season, keeping hold of them when you've got clubs from like League 1 Championship trying to get your players is always a nightmare. I know when we had Kiefer Moore, when he went on that ridiculous goal-scoring run, it was impossible to keep him because pretty much every club in the Championship was after him. And I think you might have a similar situation with Callum Guy when it comes to the transfer window opening in the summer. But we are edging towards the half-an-hour mark in this game. 0-0 as it currently stands in this match. Don't forget, we do have another game actually coming up. Another game today. We've got another stream coming up a little bit later on this afternoon. If you are a fan of the F1, Rome will be live at 3 o'clock for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. So a lot of sporting action going on today. And then we'll also have a few more streams coming up this week. I'll talk about them at half-time. As the header back to Victor Hansen there. And the Swede goalkeeper is going to try and get Rotherham on the attack here. As we edge towards the 29th minute of this game. And 0-0. Not a bad score so far. I think if you are either of the two teams, you'd be quite happy with how you played so far. No team really getting a foothold in the match, which is making it quite an even game. But Rotherham have definitely had the better of the chances so far. Michael Smith's and Angus MacDonald's 2 opportunities being the best. But funnily enough, Paul Warne has never actually beaten Birmingham. 2 draws and 2 losses in his career as a manager. Started off, of course, as a member of the backroom staff, didn't he? One of the coaches, and then he's turned into a manager. And fair play to him. I think there's a lot of people out there who want him gone, depending on what happens this season. But you can't deny that the work that Paul Warne has done at Rotherham has been massive. As there's a long-range effort taken on here. And, well, there was a chance there for Seddon, taken on from about 40 yards. And I'm not going to lie, it was a very speculative effort. But he got the time and space to take it on. And in the end, it doesn't come to anything. And it was worth a chance by Seddon, but it got out of play for a goal kick. As Daz is in the building, he's put, hey Josh, how are you doing today? I'm doing very good. Hope you're all good, Daz, as always. Any bets today? Yes, I have. I've got both teams to score bet down. And I'm pretty sure I got this game down, actually, on the both teams to score bet. So I'm kind of hoping that comes off. I'd also got a goal in both halves of the PSG game. That's actually not coming off right now. It's 0-0, which is a real shame indeed. As Chris has also put Jared Branthwaite, prime example. Local Carlisle lad, left in January last season to join Everton. There you go. It's always tough, isn't it, to keep hold of players? Especially when the Premier League clubs come calling, then that's when it's impossible. You know, you can never really turn Premier League clubs down. I mean, when we lost Semi Ajayi, I know West Brom weren't in the Premier League, but we knew by that point they were going up. So it was a real shame. As Ladapo here, inside the box, cuts in, takes on the shot, comes out towards, I think, the path of Lewis Wing. We're just taking his time here. Into Harding now. Takes on his man. Chance to whip this into the box. He does. Ladapo takes a touch. Now towards Sean McDonald, who tries to curl the ball. Doesn't get the greatest trajectory on the shot. And he's blocked by a Birmingham player. And Rotherham really starting to get into this game now. Coming to life a little bit for the Millers. And I mean, it has been pretty lively for the last 20 minutes, but they're having a lot more chances in the game. And Birmingham City here might just be a little bit worried that if Rotherham do get a goal before half-time, or get the first one of the match, it might just give them the confidence in this game. Remember, if you look at the table, if Rotherham were to win this game, it would put them 1 point behind Derby County with 2 more games in hand. And that would really open wide this relegation battle as the free kick's lofted into the box for Rotherham. It's not going to get to anyone, and it's actually very good defending in the end by Maxine Collin, who just makes sure that Rotherham don't get a chance to attack in this game, although the ball will actually come back to Rotherham here. And it will be cleared away by Harley Dean into Seddon. And maybe a chance now for Birmingham to come forward here. It's going to be Johnny Lecco, who is flagged as offside. And he's not had the greatest of games, hasn't he, yet, Lecco? A lot of Birmingham fans on Twitter complaining, actually, about Lecco being in the squad today. And no doubt, if he doesn't show up within the next kind of, 15 minutes left of this match, I would assume, with additional time, then maybe he might be one of the players subbed off early on in this game. But he has got back to pace, and we saw a little bit early on in the game. He had that one little opportunity where had he got a touch on the ball, it would have probably been 1-0, but joined in the summer, I think, Johnny Lecco. I can't remember where from. I think it was West Brom. I'm pretty sure he was at before. Joined Birmingham. Very good player on Football Manager, actually. As there's a chance here for Rotherham to maybe get the ball. Harley Dean just struggling there a little bit to keep the ball. And in the end, Michael Smith pressures his man. And it's actually gone out of play here for a Rotherham United corner. Which is what we want. As a Millers fan, I'm trying not to be biased today. But if we do score, the biasy will come out. But corner now for Rotherham. 33 minutes on the clock. Sorry, it's going to be a throw-in, actually. It looked like it was a corner, but it's a throw-in just towards the corner flag. Long throwing from Wes Harding. Comes down for Angus MacDonald, and eventually it comes down towards Ihikwe, and he hit the shot on the volley, and well, I think that might have flown all the way out of the Rotherham Stadium and into Sheffield or Doncaster, because that was not the greatest shot in the world by Ihikwe. But another chance for Rotherham. And do you know what? He took the chest touch there, Ihikwe, and it's not easy to take on a volley like that. But in the end, you've got to hit the target at the very least, and Ihikwe. Probably that has landed in Sheffield United Stadium, if I'm being honest with you. As we go into the final 10 minutes of this first half. I think, depending on how the next 10 minutes goes, if you are Paul Warne, I think you'd be quite happy with how you've played so far. If you are the Birmingham City manager, then I think Gary Bow will be a little bit maybe disappointed that his side haven't had a few more chances in this game. But the important thing is they're still in it. And if they do get a point on the board today for Birmingham City, then they will actually creep up to 46 points, and that will put them 6 points away from the drop zone. Of course, hoping there then that Rotherham don't pick up any more points in their 2 games in hand. And I think, depending on what happens, a point's not a bad result, but a win, especially at this stage of the season, is much more important as Rotherham look to come forward again. Crooks with a little flick, trying to get towards Wes Harding. Doesn't get to him in the end, and it is a real wave of Rotherham attack, so they're saying that. There's going to be a chance here for Johnny Lecco to take on his man, but good defending in the end by Richard Wood. He is pushed by Johnny Lecco. And I think Wood there complained to the referee, expecting a free kick to be given. And I thought he was going to be given a free kick, but will actually be given to a chance here for Birmingham to come forward. It's going to be Johnny Lecco on the right wing. He's been everywhere so far in this game. And he's gone down, and the referee's going to give a free kick here, right at the edge of the box. And frustration there for Lewis Wing. And this is a very, very good position for Birmingham. And just seeing the free kick given in the end, and it wasn't the heaviest of pushes from Lewis Wing. But in the end, Johnny Lecco, he does go down, and it will be a free kick in pretty much a similar position to what we saw from Coventry in the previous game. Right at the edge of the box, flicked in last time by, I can't remember who flicked it in for the Coventry goal, but he's in pretty much the same position. And Rotherham here need to defend on their set plays quite astutely, and I've got a feeling they're going to play this short. As I think a challenge has gone in the meantime, and one of the Birmingham players with a lot of blood on their face right now, which I think is why the play's could be stopped for a second. And I think the Birmingham player, I think it's Seddon here, would just rather play on with a bloody eye right now. But we will have that slight interval in play here. As Kurt puts, good eye Josh, can I be a mod for your live stream next week? Maybe, I'll think about it. But thank you very much, Kurt. Hopefully you're all good. And if we don't see you later on, we'll see you shortly tomorrow probably for the darts. Because the darts is back tomorrow. And I can't wait for it. 4 days of non-stop darts. I am very excited to have some more Premier League of darts actions. That's from tomorrow night. I will talk about that in a little moment's time. But yeah, it was just a class of, I think Seddon's eye just hit on the head of Wes Harding. And it will mean that we'll have that little break here. And I mean, Wes Harding, former Birmingham City player himself, isn't he? Joined Rotherham in the summer. He'll be hoping maybe he can get the better of his former side today. But this is going to add a little bit of time on in this game. And the only important question is, can Birmingham make the most of this set piece? Very, very important opportunity in the game, as Chris has put. The key players I'm worried could leave Carlisle if no promotion. Our best centre-back, Aaron Hayden. Our best midfielders, Callum Guy and John Mellish. Who knows? Who knows? As I said, I think it'll go down to the last game of the season. I think it'll be a very, very tight one indeed, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's always exciting, isn't it, with the end of the season? I'm saying exciting, but it's always nerve-wracking, isn't it? As if you're a fan of one of the clubs, maybe down in the relegation zone like we are, or if you're up there fighting for the promotion and the playoffs, then it's always a nervous time. But still just having a bit of treatment right now. This will probably give us a few more minutes of additional time. As Kyle puts, Josh is like a kid in the candy store with the darts. I am! I love it! I can't wait for it. 4 nights of non-stop drinking and hopefully 9 darters. I'm really excited for it. It's Christ Boys in the stream. How are you doing, my friend? Hope you're good. Big game today in the Old Firm. I will be watching that, I'll tell you that for sure. But free kick going to be whipped in now by Birmingham. And it's really, really well defended by Rotherham. Headed away by Michael ENQUIRIES. And I actually do think that interval in play kind of killed that free kick off there. Because I think originally, before they stopped the play for the treatment, I think Birmingham were actually going to play it short to the edge of the box. But Dapo's got a chance here to drive forward. It's a 1-on-4. Now it's a 2-on-4 as Smith gets into the box. It's going to be played by Robertson into the box. But it will be a throw-in right at the corner flag. As Chris says, you can imagine Josh in a dart shop buying new darts and a dartboard. I bought one! I have a new dartboard. Literally got it 2 days ago. Bought a new one. So I've got a new dartboard now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy another webcam in the next, I'm thinking, week or 2. And then I am going to get a setup sorted for some dart streams. So when we don't have any games going on and I've got a bit of free time, we'll play the darts. And play some of you guys. And probably get spanked because I'm shit. But chance here for Rotherham to come forward again. ENQUIRIES on the right wing. Flicks a really good ball into the box, but a little bit too heavy in the end. And Birmingham City will get the ball back here. And a chance for Gardner to launch the ball up the pitch to Jonathan Lecco. But good defending at the back there. And Rotherham will get the ball up the pitch here with 4.5 minutes left of this first half. Can either of these two teams get a goal before half-time and just change the team talk for Gary Boyer or Paul Warne? It's going to be Crooks on the ball just past the halfway line. Plays it into Clark Robertson, who's playing that right wing back, right mid position. But yeah, I hope you're good, Christ Boy. Looking forward to the Old Firm later on. I will be watching that with very keen eyes. Do you think they're going to play the main team out? Because I did put on one of my bets, I think I put on Brown, Laxalt, Barisic and Morelos to all get yellow carded. So I've gone for a few yellow cards in that game. But that's me hoping that they all play in that match and they don't rest players up. But here's Harding, ball lofted into the box. Comes towards ENQUIRIES. And I think ENQUIRIES believes that there is a slight deflection of the ball from one of the Birmingham players. And the linesman and the referee agree. And it will be another corner here for Rotherham United. And we've about 4.5 minutes left on the clock. Probably another 2 or 3 of additional time. And Rotherham United with another chance here from a set piece. And we've had a lot of set piece opportunities in this game so far, and they've not really been taken. I think we had that one corner which very nearly crept in by Angus MacDonald. But Crashboy says Brown will get yellow 100%. This will be... oh no, it's not his last Old Firm, isn't it? Because there's another one in 2 weeks. Yes! That last Old Firm, I think he's going to be bonkers. Scott Brown, red card. As the free kick... the corner is lobbed in. Comes towards ENQUIRIES again this time, but Angus MacDonald trying to whip this in again. And eventually it's cleared away from Djukovic. And another set piece there from Rotherham that hasn't been used as maybe as well as people expected it to be used. But Christ Boy saying 100%. I can't spell. I'm very excited for it. It's the one time of the... I'm saying the one time of the year. We've had about 5, haven't we, this year? But I'm going to stop for a second because Johnny Lecco here driving down the left wing. Might have an opportunity to score a goal for the Rotherham against Rotherham. At the edge of the box. Takes on his man. Plays it into McGree, who takes on a really weak shot in the end. And that was a real unfortunate and poor effort from McGree, especially with a chance there for Birmingham City to maybe get a goal before half-time. But here comes Rotherham, as the game comes a little bit more end-to-end here in the final few minutes of this first half. Here is McGree, who had an opportunity a few moments ago, but didn't take the most... didn't really take it on, did he? Well, what is it? Christboy says, I'm hoping Brown gets a goal against Rangers before he leaves. Has he ever scored a goal against Rangers? I swear he's got to have, surely. I don't think he's been for a long time, because I can't remember him scoring in an Old Firm for quite a while, but that last Old Firm in May is going to be absolutely fucking brilliant. I'll be covering that, that's for sure. I can see that being an absolute card fest, that one. A Scott Brown send-off. A couple, yeah. I thought he had. I would have been very surprised if Scott Brown had never scored in an Old Firm. It's just, usually scores in a game where it's like 3-4 goals up, and it's just, you don't remember maybe that goal specifically speaking, but I'm looking forward to it. We've been a cup game as well. The fact that it can go to extra time and penalties makes it even better. I mean, what I'm hoping for is that it ends maybe 2-2, 3-3. Then we get another half an hour, and then we go to pens. As Rotherham get a free kick here at the halfway line. It's going to be lofted in by Wes Harding into the box towards Michael Smith, who does get his header onto the ball. But nobody is there. And now a chance here for Birmingham maybe to get a counter-attack going. Another long ball fed towards Jonathan Lecco, but Wes Harding is well and truly aware. And a chance for Birmingham is squandered. Although they will get the ball back here at the halfway line with a throw-in. And another chance for the away team here to just put dents in the hearts of Miller's fans before half-time. And there might be a chance here, although Crooks is going to clear the ball away. Ball going to come towards Lukas Juchkovic. And the referee is going to give a free kick in the end to Birmingham as we go into 2 more minutes of additional time here in the first half. And a free kick here in a pretty decent position. Neil Etheridge is going to come up, I think, for this. In fact, no, he's not. He's changed his mind. It's actually going to be Harley Dean, I think, who's going to whip this in. In fact, no, Harley Dean's gone away from the ball as well. He's not going to be taking it. So, free kick here at the halfway line. And it's going to be taken by Colin, who plays it short into Gardner. What can Gardner do here? I think my computer has froze. Oh dear. Oh, I'm still live. If I am, fantastic news. If I'm not, then I do apologise. Hopefully. Do give me a heads up if it's not. There we go. I think we're back. Apologies if it was lagging there for a second. I don't know what was going on. But it just cut off for a second as we're going to get a chance here for Birmingham City. And a real opportunity in the game you feel here. Long throw-in by Roberts. Headed away by Ikwe. And the ball will come back to Birmingham City again here. And a chance maybe for Gary Gardner to keep the ball in play. Doesn't in the end. And as I said, I don't know why it lagged there for a second. My laptop just froze for the moment. But we're all good. We're all good. We're back. As you go into the last 25 seconds of the first half. Can Birmingham get a goal here? As the referee is actually going to give an offside call for Birmingham. And I think that will be that for the first half here. And what has been a very even relegation 6-pointer between Rotherham United and Birmingham City. And you can see Paul Warne sat down on the Millers bench. And I wonder what he'll be thinking in his team talk, because the referee does blow the whistle for half-time in this game. And this relegation 6-pointer finds itself goalless at half-time. But it's not been a bad game at all. There's been a fair few chances for Rotherham United in the match. One of the big chances being from a corner, which was flicked towards Angus MacDonald, and his slight touch on the ball just glazed it past the left-hand side of the near post for Neil Etheridge in goal. And then the other chance, the biggest chance of the game, was a real good opportunity, which was whipped in by Matt Crooks into the path of Michael Smith. And 9 times out of 10, you probably expect your striker to put the ball into the back of the net, and he just looked to curl the ball into the top left-hand corner of the goal, and he just couldn't in the end. Birmingham City, they've had a few chances of their own, not really anything too big to scream and shout about. There was one opportunity which Jonathan Lecco had. It was a really good low-driven ball into the box. I think it was from McGree, but in the end it just didn't reach Jonathan Lecco, and the ball fizzed away from the striker. But I think Birmingham will probably look to come out all guns blazing in the second half. If they get a win today, remember, they do go 9 points away from the drop zone. But if you're a Rotherham fan like myself, I don't think you're complaining too much about how the first half has panned out. But once again, you need Rotherham to go out there all guns blazing, because they have to go out there and get a win, or else their survival hopes will be dented. A little further, even if they do get a point, I think a point at this stage of the season, yes, it still keeps us within touching distance of Derby, but 3 points would be so much better. But that is the first half. Christboy's asked in the chat, who do you think will go up with Norwich? I think Watford should go up, realistically speaking. I think it's very hard right now for the rest of the other teams to catch up. I mean, Swansea could do it, but it all depends on how Swansea play over the next few weeks. I think, personally, for me, Swansea dropped too many points. Watford haven't looked as convincing in the last few weeks, but I still think they could do it no problem. I mean, that game between Norwich and Watford could be pretty big in the complexion of actually who wins the title. Especially if Norwich do go on and win that... Watford go on and win the game. Then it'll put them a little bit closer towards winning the title, maybe. But talking about various games going on in the near future, let's take a quick look at some of the games coming up and sports coming up over the next few days on the Sports Corner. It is a very, very busy week indeed, and it's very busy because currently we've got Rotherham United, who are taking on Birmingham City. We've got the second half coming up in about 10 to 15 minutes. However, we've got the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. That's live at 3 o'clock. You can join Rome for that for all of the F1. Should be a dramatic race indeed. And then you can join tonight, Kieran L, for another MLS watch-along. The MLS is back into Miami, taking on LA Galaxy. That should hopefully be from around 5 to 8. God knows when it starts. Premier League of Darts is back on Monday night. You can join me from 10 past 7 for all of the darts. And then I'll be back, of course, on Tuesday for the other night of darts. We're live from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday for the darting action. And then on Wednesday night, as part of our multi-stream feature, you can join KD, Kale and Rowan for match day 30 of the Bundesliga. There are 4 games going on the Bundesliga on Wednesday night, and they will be covering all 4 of those games as the Premier League, the Bundesliga title race might be dead and buried now, but the fight for the European spots and the battle for survival is very, very exciting indeed in Germany. So you might want to join the boys for that if you're not a fan of the darts. But yes, the darts is back tomorrow. I'll be live from about 5 past 7, with the first game about 5 or 10 minutes afterwards. And we'll be talking all things darts. We're going to have our Sports Corner Super 6, which we'll talk about a little bit more in the dart stream tomorrow. And it'll also be on Twitter, which, talking about Twitter, more about our social media. I would highly recommend checking out our social media. Our Twitter is at @_top corner. I would recommend checking that out if you want to keep up to date with what's going to happen in the Sports Corner Super 6. And then we've also got our Instagram, which is the _sports corner _. Do go and check that out if you want to know when we go live. And then I would also recommend checking out our website. That is the sports-corner.com. There is going to be a lot of content going up on the website over the next few weeks, especially based around the NFL. So if you're a big fan of that, then please do go and check it out, because the NFL will be taking over the website for quite some time in the near future. But we also have other content on there. We have a lot of football content. We've had some wrestling content. And no doubt there'll be a whole host of other pieces going up in the near future as well. So that is all of the social media stuff and what's to come on the channel. Let's just talk about that first half. I think as a Rotherham fan, I have to sit there and say, look, I think both teams will be fairly happy with how they've started. And exactly as what Russ has said in the chat, Rotherham deserved to be leading at half-time, despite Birmingham starting the brighter of the two sides. And I agree with you. I think the first 15 minutes or so, Rotherham really allowed Birmingham a good spell in the game. And it was, in fact, that first chance within the first 30 seconds where Lukas Djuktovic very nearly got a header towards goal. I think that was a very, very good chance in the game for Birmingham to really set the scene, and maybe for Rotherham to feel like it was going to be deja vu again with a similar situation against Coventry. But look, I think Rotherham, they've come into this game a little bit more, especially after the 20th minute. I think the last 25 minutes of the game, Rotherham do deserve to maybe have a goal in this match, but they haven't taken the chances. We've only had a few chances, the best one being that Michael Smith one, which, in my opinion, should have been in the net. I think it was a bobbling ball, which makes it a little bit harder, and he did have a man in front of him, Michael Smith, which makes it much harder to guide the ball to where you want it to go. But I think if you are Paul Warne, you're probably going in at half-time and thinking, let's keep that level of effort up in the second half, and let's try and go out there and get a win, because if we do get a win, it is absolutely massive for Rotherham United's survival hopes. Or we could be sat here in about 50 minutes' time saying that Rotherham have lost and that the hopes and dreams of staying in the league might be shattered by Birmingham City. And for those of you that maybe haven't seen the Championship table, this is a quick look at it once again. So as it stands right now, Rotherham move up to 40 points. That's because they are currently drawing in this game against Birmingham. But that means that Birmingham will also gain a point, and they'll go 6 points above the relegation zone as they currently are right now. However, if Rotherham were to win it, they will move up to 42 points. That will put them 1 point behind Derby County with 2 games in hand. If Birmingham win, then it will probably, for me, slightly kill off Rotherham's dreams and hopes of survival, and it will put Birmingham 9 points ahead of the bottom 3. So a massive, massive game for Birmingham in the complexion of their survival hopes, and a massive game in the complexion of Rotherham's survival hopes. And there is still a lot more content to come with the second half, but we're just going to take a quick break for the moment. I will be back in about a minute or two, and hopefully we'll be coming out of this game with a Rotherham United win. But go grab yourself a coffee, a pint, whatever you drink these days, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes for the second half of Rotherham United Birmingham. Let's hope Rotherham get the win. That was probably the quickest break we've ever had. I am back. Thank you very much for those of you that have sat about and waited. We will be back underway very shortly with the second half of Rotherham United taking on Birmingham City in this watch-along. 0-0 as it currently stands in that game. Don't forget, please, if you haven't already and you are new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like and subscription. It would be massively, massively appreciated for those of you that haven't left a sub to do so. Of course, lots of action still to come in this game with Rotherham currently 0-0 against Birmingham, and no doubt I'm hoping that we get a few more goals in this game. It would be very nice indeed if Rotherham could get on the board. Of course, being a Rotherham fan, I'm always going to back the Millers over Birmingham. But let's take a look at the two benches before we get back into the second half and maybe see some plays that could make a difference if needed in this game. And we'll start off with the home tide, of course, Rotherham United. I think personally right now I wouldn't change anything in the match. I think we played very well indeed. Depending on what happens in the game. Changes will definitely be made. In fact, I think Rotherham will probably use all 5 changes, especially considering that they've got another game coming up, I think, on Wednesday. So they do have a little bit of a longer break in comparison to what we've had over the last few days. But look, I think it's been a very busy and very tiring week for Rotherham United. 4 games in 8 days is a hell of a lot for a Championship club, let's not forget. Usually it'd be a case of Premier League clubs playing those types of games back to back, but it is the Rotherham that have had to do that in the Championship, and I think they'll not want to bring on those players on the bench a little too early. I think what we're seeing on the bench there is most likely some of the players we will maybe see in the lineup when Rotherham play Middlesbrough on Wednesday night, which is going to be I think on about 6:30. But it's one of those where I think Ola Sunday will definitely be in the team next week. Barlays will be in the team next week. I think Lindsay as well. So a few players being rested. But I think we'll see a few of them come on. I'd love to see Ogbene. He's been out injured for a few months, so it'd be nice to maybe see him come back into the team. He's got bags of pace, and I think he'd be perfect in a game like this to bring on to test the back three that Birmingham have got. I think Kieran Sadlier doesn't get many opportunities in a Rotherham shirt. I think it'd be nice to see him come on, but I don't know what it is. He just doesn't seem to ever come on for Rotherham, and I feel like there's a vendetta against him. And then, of course, if you want to change it up, maybe Sean McDonald, you take him off if, let's say we go 1-0 down, for example. You could bring on someone like Lindsay or Barlaser, who could be a little bit more attacking in the game and really go for it if you need to. But that is the Rotherham bench. I would assume we'll probably see maybe someone like Lindsay or Barlaser come on, depending on what happens. If Rotherham feel the need to go for it a little more, maybe take off Sean McDonald as well with the aging legs. Been very good, though, I have to say, so far in this game. And then when you actually look at the Birmingham bench, I don't really know a great deal about Birmingham's bench. I'm not going to lie. There are a few recognisable players on there. Former Athletic Bilbao player, Mikel San Jose, which is mad. The fact that Mikel San Jose was playing against Barcelona and now he might come on and face Rotherham United is something that I don't think he ever dreamed of. But they've also got Scott Hogan on the bench if they wanted to change it up maybe. I think Jonathan Lecco has been quite a lively player in this game so far, so I wouldn't take him off. But if they want a little bit more pace, then they could maybe bring on someone like Scott Hogan in this match and try and get some extra pace on there. But I can't see them taking off Lukas Juktovic. I think he's too detrimental to this Birmingham side. As I said, they've also got Cosgrove on the bench. I think he's another player that could maybe come on and do something in this game. If that's the Sam Cosgrove I'm thinking of, which I am now going to check that just to make sure it is indeed, yes, it is Sam Cosgrove. I think he could come on and maybe make a difference in this game. So they do have players on the bench and lots of players indeed that they could bring on to change this game up. Maybe bringing on Jeremy Bella as well if they need to reassure the back line. But once again, I think it's the same for Birmingham. I wouldn't make any changes either. I think they've been good enough in terms of how they've played so far in this match. And the real question is, can either of these two teams play as good as they did in the first half again in the second? Birmingham are already out onto the pitch. I think they're just waiting for Rotherham to come back out for this second half. But look, this is a very important 45 minutes in the season for Rotherham United here. And it's a very important 45 minutes in the season for Birmingham City as well. One team can secure pretty much their survival, I would say. The other team can get themselves 1 point away from the drop zone. And it's very, very nerve-wracking as a Millers fan. I think there'll be a few people out there who'd take a point. But look, as I've said multiple times before, I think a point at this stage is not good enough. A win is definitely needed. As James is in the building, how are you doing, my friend? It's good evening, Josh. How you been? I'm not too bad, thank you very much. Had a nice little bit of time off to sit back and relax, but we're back on the grind again for the next week with the football and the darts. As Rotherham still aren't out yet, just waiting for them to come back out here at the New York Stadium. Let's hope that they can put in an inspired performance as they finally make their way out onto the pitch. And no doubt, Paul Warne's team talk will have been a very, very big team talk. Especially knowing that his side have got to go out there and get something in this game, and pretty quick in my opinion. I would assume that Birmingham will start very similar to what they did in the first half, and I would expect the first 5 or 10 minutes to probably be a lot of the away side on the ball, dominating it, trying to get that nice early goal in the second half to really shape up this match. But look, we'll have to see, as this has been the longest 15-minute break I think I've ever seen. Let's hope that 15-minute break was worth it, as we're about to get underway with the second half of action. And let's hope we're changing that scoreline from 0-0 to 1-0 to the mighty Millers. As we're now waiting for the referee to come out. So we're waiting for everybody. Where is everyone? Here we go. The referee's coming out now. And we should finally be ready to get this game underway at the Asiel New York Stadium. And it is a sunny day in South Yorkshire. But will it be ending with doom and gloom? Will the skies turn grey by the end of the 90 minutes of this match as we get underway with the second half of action between Rotherham United and Birmingham City? And we have seen glimpses in this game of what both teams can do. Birmingham City, they have got pace and height up top. It's a little and large combo, I guess you could say, of Jonathan Leko and Lucas Jukcevic. And I'm not going to say it's a little and large combo with Ladapo and Smith, but Ladapo, not the tallest of players, is he? He's not exactly Michael Smith height. But he certainly has been testing Championship defences all season long, although Michael Smith is actually the top scorer for Rotherham with 10 goals. Although you'd have to say it feels like Ladapo scored more important ones over the last few weeks. Can one of them score an important goal today as we do get underway with the second half of action? And it's going to be Crooks who goes in, but Roberts, very good slide tackle to stop Matt Crooks there from trying to whip a ball into the box. And both defences are going to have to stay alert and alive. I think when you actually look at the table and see how many goals that these teams have conceded, Birmingham have conceded 50 goals this season. Rotherham have conceded 53. So when you actually look at the complexion of these two teams and the goals that they conceded, you actually look around the rest of the pack. Even teams like Bristol City have conceded similar goals. But of course their one issue has been scoring. Only 31 goals this season for Birmingham, so not the greatest season if you're a fan of goals. Rotherham with 41, as there's a chance for Robertson, who does get his head onto the ball. But good defending from Pedersen there, who just makes sure that the threat for Rotherham doesn't turn into a goal, and it was a good start there for Rotherham United, as they do get a corner. 2 minutes into a second half, and no doubt if Rotherham do score, there will be celebrations in the building. There will be biased commentary for about 15-20 seconds as the corner's going to be whipped in here by Lewis Wing. So really good ball into the box, and it's fumbled, and it's on the line, and it's cleared by the Birmingham defence. And Neil Everidge came out of his goal and didn't come close to the ball, but I don't actually think any Rotherham players were alert in that situation and expecting the ball to be on the line, and it was a pretty simple clearance in the end by Birmingham. But a moment there of nerves for the away team as Rotherham looked to come forward again, but in the end it's going to be Ivan Sunjic who's able to get the ball and clear it away from his goal. But real nervy moment there for Birmingham, and had one of those players for Rotherham been a little bit closer to the line, it could have easily been a goal. As Rotherham have a chance here, Richard Wood at the edge of the box plays it into Wing, who takes the shot on, and it hits Pedersen. And that is very, very good defending from the Dane. And another chance for Rotherham United to get a goal early in this second half. And that is quality defending from Christian Pedersen. And it was Richard Wood who was just onside. Really, really good ball into Lewis Wing and Christian Pedersen there. Had he have not got a touch on the ball, it would have been a goal for Rotherham. Neil Everidge was beaten. And then we've just seen that corner again a few moments ago. Everidge nowhere near it. And Angus MacDonald just gets a flick on the ball. But he just doesn't stay alert. And in the end, that chance didn't come to anything. But two good moments for the Millers in the first 5 minutes. And again, we're just seeing that corner now. And it was just one of those where Michael Smith, he did get a slight touch on the ball, just trying to flick it over the line, but good tussling by Roberts and Gardner, keeping close to their man. And that slight touch that Michael Smith does get just isn't enough to take it over the line. And Birmingham here, with real frustrations, and they could have easily been 2-0 down 5 minutes into the second half, but they're just going to have to stand strong here. And I was predicting that first 5 or 10 minutes it was going to be Birmingham who were going to try and take Rotherham on and weather the storm. But let's not forget, these Rotherham players, it will be interesting when we get towards the 60th, 70th minute of the test of fitness. With all the games played, you would expect Birmingham to be the fresher of the two sides. And in a season where you can make 5 subs, it certainly helps Paul Warne out that he can pretty much change half of his side if he needs to. But not been the biggest of threats, have they, today, Birmingham? They do need to get something fairly soon, in my opinion, to just try and make this game a little bit more, not exciting, but especially if you're a Birmingham fan, you want to see your team go out there and get something in this game. As there's a chance here for Neil Everidge to come out again, and I think he actually punches one of his own players. And Michael Smith again with another chance for the Millers. And that's the danger that he brings to defences in the Championship. He's such a tall player, and he does actually get a touch on the ball, Smith, but it's always rising. And in the end, Neil Everidge, who's found himself a few times in this game in a bit of a nervous position, could have found himself again on the back of maybe a chance for Rotherham to put the ball into the back of the net, as Lukas Jutsovic is down. Neil Everidge, of course, hitting him in the back of the head, I think, a moment ago from that chance for Michael Smith. But just seeing as it stands, Rotherham United only 6 points off Birmingham in 19th, but 3 points off Derby. And if you're a Derby fan, 1 win in 11 now, you must be very, very nervous that you might find yourself... Well, you are actually in a scrap for survival, but you don't want to be the one team to be pushed down there, especially if Rotherham could go on and maybe get themselves a victory on the board today. As Daz's plot, I had Leicester to win £1, Arsenal to win £1, and Man United to win 50p and 4 horses. That's not too bad. Very best of luck. Hopefully you can win a couple of quid. I think you'll probably get from that. As Lukas Jutsovic will go off the pitch for a second, I think, just to make sure he's all right. Once again, head concussion. So just got to make sure that he's okay to continue on. As we will get back underway with the action here. And the pace of Rotherham has been very good so far. Been very, very good. Much more livelier than they were against Coventry. And I think at half-time, when they were looking at the average positions of the Rotherham players, I was saying earlier about how in the Coventry game, the players were a little bit too tight in the middle and trying to play everything through the middle of the pitch. Against QPR, they played it wide for large parts of the game, and it worked out quite well. And again, they've gone back to that system of playing the ball out wide to the likes of Wing and Robertson and Harding. And it has worked really well so far, especially when you come up against a free back. You know, it's going to be a little bit more stretched. There's going to be more space to come up against the two wide centre-backs, which is going to allow you more opportunities to flick the ball into the box and have opportunities. And Rotherham made the most of that, but they need to get something on the board just to really make things even more better for the Millers fans here. Because the last thing you want to do is you don't want to dominate a game for, 40, 50 minutes, play out of your skin, and then Birmingham have one chance up the other end and win the game 1-0. That's the last thing you want. And with how Rotherham United are as a club, the amount of times we've had games where we've dominated but not really done much with the ball, there's been quite a lot this season. And no doubt, Millers fans will be hoping that doesn't happen again. As Ladapo's gone down, referee's going to give a free kick. And this is a very decent position to maybe whip this into the box. And again, the centre-backs will come up here. As we saw earlier, Neil Warnock is there today. Tony Stewart, who is the owner of Rotherham United, just sat close to Neil Warnock, who's come Former Rotherham United manager, of course, Warnock, part of the Great Escape a few years ago. He will no doubt be scouting Rotherham. That's their next game, of course, against Middlesbrough. And he's already got Lewis Wing here, who's actually going to take the free kick now. And it's lobbed in, but not the greatest free kick in the world. And, well, I don't think Neil Warnock could be happy with that if he did that for Middlesbrough. But he's going to have another chance here to play the ball towards Michael Iekwe, who's giving the ball away. Now there's a chance here for Lukas Djuktovic. And he's going to take on his man. It's a 4-on-1. Good chance here, though. Still coming forward, and the referee's actually going to bring it back for a free kick. Advantage was played, and a foul on Djuktovic will actually bring that back for a free kick. I think that is the right decision there from the referee to bring it back. Just seeing it now, I think it was Wes Harding. Just took a foot out on Djuktovic there, takes him down. Tactical foul, I guess you could say in the end. And Lukas Djuktovic, who's not really had much of an opportunity to get into this game. He had that first chance within the first minute, but since then he's not really had much of a chance. They'll be hoping he can get into the game fairly quick here. As the ball's lofted into the box. And Johansson comes out and misses the punch. But luckily, there are no Birmingham players in near sight. And it will be a goal kick in the end. And in the end, as I said, he elects to punch it. And I think the closest player to Victor Johansson in that situation was Roberts. And I don't think Roberts would have actually probably got a touch on the ball had Johansson actually got a puncher or not. So I don't think it would have come to much in the end. But goal kick now. And Victor Johansson, what a player he's been. Signed from Leicester City. Some exceptional saves against Coventry last week. Although he wasn't able to keep the clean sheet, unfortunately. Some massive, massive saves. And he's not had much to do so far. It's been quite afternoon, evening for him. Afternoon, not evening, isn't it? Still only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's strange, been up since the early hours of the morning. But Birmingham, they'll be hoping they can get something in this game. That is the real question. As Richard Wood, I think, has just given a foul away here. And again, it's just becoming a little bit stop-start. And Birmingham, I think the first chance in this game are getting a bit of an opportunity in Rotherham's half as Michael Iekwe has gone into the book. I think it's been given as a handball on Iekwe, and I mean, well, yeah, that is a handball, definitely. Hand not in the in a what's the word? He's not in a position of normality. Not in a normal position is probably the best word to use for it. And the referee gives Iekwe his 11th card of the season. And a chance maybe here for Birmingham from the free kick. We said earlier, Rotherham have conceded 17 goals from set pieces. It's going to come towards Roberts. Led to the edge of the box to, I think, Gardner. And Pedersen tries to flick the ball in. And in the end, it's going to be another corner here for Birmingham City. And it was a flick in from Seddon, who tried to get it into the box towards Pedersen and Gardner. But it just doesn't come to anything. And I think it will actually be given as a corner for Birmingham. But much better play here from Birmingham. Weathered that early storm, I think you could say. But they're going to have another chance here from the corner. And they need to make the most of this. And Harley Dean looking very hungry to get on this ball. But it's going to be whipped towards the near post. Comes towards Pedersen, who gets a slight touch. And in the end, Crooks just makes sure Pedersen can't get a second header on the ball, and it will actually go out of play for a Rotherham United goal kick. As Crooks there just slightly might have just had a little knock there as he's gone in for the ball, but he should be okay to continue on as we edge towards the final half an hour of this game. No goals as of yet, which is a shame. You do want to see goals. But look, as I said, Rotherham well and truly in this. And as the game continues on, I wonder how long it'll be before the first change is made by either manager. As Birmingham now will just look to try and get themselves a real spell in this game. And Michael Iekwe is actually level at the top of the charts for the most yellow cards this season with 11. Nathaniel Chalobah, I think, has got 12. So Michael Iekwe, very dangerous when it comes to getting bookings. In fact, he gets booked once every 4 matches on average, which is crazy when you think about it. There's Birmingham here, going to get a throw-in in their own half an hour left. We are seeing a few players actually just warming up for Rotherham. I think one of them is Ben Wiles. I think one of them as well is... I think Ogbene is warming up too. So a few players just getting themselves ready, just in case they are called up by Paul Warne. And as you would expect, you know, I think Birmingham will make a few changes as well. I think they've got another game midweek. As we edge towards the last few games of the season, it is definitely relentless now. All the way up until May. When we will find out who goes up, who goes down, and who's in the playoffs at the end of the season. Which we will no doubt be covering on the channel, that's for sure. But here comes Jonathan Lecco. He's done very well to keep the ball in play. On the right wing now. Can he put a good ball into the box? He can't. But I think it's going to go out of play for a corner. I think when Lecco put the ball in, one of the Birmingham players actually got a touch on the ball, which caused it to go out of play in the end. And Jonathan Lecco not really done much, has he, in this last 15 minutes? I think the two up top have been very, very quiet. But, you know, as we said before, you can see he has got bags of pace. And I think, especially in the latter stages of the game, that pace could certainly become very useful against Rotherham as these players do get a little bit more tired. But I think maybe Scott Hogan might be one of those players that they maybe bring on at some point. As Angus MacDonald's gone down here. Rotherham just going to have a moment here to stop play, get some treatment on the former Hull City centre-back, who knows what it's like to be in a relegation scrap. Was battling last season with Hull City before inevitably getting relegated with them and signing for Rotherham United. So he knows what it's like to be down there with the rest of the pack. Because fighting for survival until the last game of the season, I think Hull were last season. But half an hour left. I think Paul Warne might be looking at maybe making a change. Ola Sunday is warming up. As some of these Rotherham players will take a drinks break. And a chance for these players to re-energise themselves. And it's been a very good half an hour. Very good 60 minutes for Rotherham. I mean, when you actually look at the stats of the game so far, 15 shots for Rotherham, only 2 on target, 6 for Birmingham, none on target. They just need to get a few more shots on target, Rotherham, and maybe they might be in a position to go out there and get something in this game. But I mean, it's going to be one of those where Rotherham just need to make the most of the chances. It's mad, isn't it? 15 shots. Doesn't feel like it. But Angus MacDonald's still down here. And hopefully he'll be alright to continue on, because he's had a few problems with injuries while he's been here at Rotherham. Had not a lot of time out, but a little bit of time out. And let's just hope it's nothing too serious. You need every player you can possibly have at this stage for any team. As Russ says, if Angus MacDonald needs to come off, Ola Sunday would be the ideal replacement. Harding at centre-back with Ola Sunday at right wing-back, which would probably be the easiest way to go. And I would assume maybe Ola Sunday will be coming on. I don't know whether he'll be feeling here. Do we risk Angus MacDonald staying on if it's anything too worrying? Or do we just take him off and play it safe and bring Ola Sunday on, which is not a bad player to bring on with half an hour left of the game. As I think Gary Boyd just talking to some of his potential substitutes. As Angus MacDonald just going to reboot himself up here. And they will, of course, check to see if he's going to be alright to continue. And I think he will be. He's looking pretty alright now as he runs back to the halfway line to come on in a second. So there won't be any changes at the very least. But good news there for any Rotherham fans. As Banala's in the building. He's put, good morning, Josh. Sporting the fresh trim. I am indeed. How are we doing? Are you all good, lad? Welcome along to the stream. As we've got half an hour left, I would say. We'll get a little bit of additional time because of Angus MacDonald's slight knock there. But he is back onto the pitch, and the first thing he does is come in with a nice little tackle and just make sure that Birmingham get no chance here. They've still had 0 shots on target. Although saying that, they might have a chance here. Ball towards Maxine Collin. Doesn't get to him in the end, and I'm just starting to feel like maybe here for Rotherham, maybe some changes will do as Birmingham start to not get a foothold of the game. But they are having a few extra chances, a bit more possession in Rotherham's half. And I do think maybe that Rotherham will make some changes soon. And I think Birmingham might make a few changes of their own to see if they can get back into this game. Well, I'm saying get back into it. They are in it. Just get a result in this game at the very least. As Rotherham looks to come forward here. Ball flicked towards Crooks. Doesn't get to him in the end. Chance here maybe now for Harley Dean to flick the ball up the pitch, which he does. Tries to get it to Jonathan Lecco, but the ball from Dean was a little bit too high. And it will go out of play for a Rotherham United throw-in just past the halfway line. As Angus MacDonald has gone down again. Now I think we will be seeing that change in a second. I would assume Ola Sunday will probably get ready to come on here. As, yeah, you can quite clearly see with his socks off there, I think he's going to have to come off. So Ola Sunday, I would assume, will be the player that will come on in a second. As Bernaldo says, doing alright. Bit hungover, but not bad. Good. Glad to hear you're all good. Apparently I keep calling Gary Boy, it's Lee Boy. Shit, my bad. It's because they're both related, aren't they? It's Lee Boy, not Gary Boy. Forgetting, ain't it? They've both had such long careers, Gary and Lee. I need to get it made, it's Lee. But just seeing what's actually caused MacDonald with the injury there, and he's gone for a ball in the 50-50 with Lecco. Just a slight touch in the end on the front of MacDonald's foot. I think probably the metatarsal, which is not the greatest of places to have an injury with. But I think Ola Sunday probably going to get ready to come on here in a second. I haven't seen Paul Warne sorting anything out to bring a player on. But I think MacDonald's going to have another go again, which I think is a bit of an interesting one. He's going to see here if he can continue on in the game. And with 25 minutes left on the clock, can Angus MacDonald continue on, or is he going to come off again? Third time lucky, let's see, as he comes back onto the pitch. And I'm not going to lie, I would have probably just put Ola Sunday on by now. But he's staying on. But let's find out what happens. 25 minutes left on the clock here. Rotherham 0, Birmingham 0. Not many big chances overall in terms of the complexion of the game. But let's be honest, there might be a chance here for Birmingham. There's Richard Wood going to take down, I think, Jonathan Lecco there. And a yellow card will be coming out for the Rotherham United captain. And Jonathan Lecco again taken down. And with 25 minutes left of the clock here, now two of the back three centre-backs are on bookings. And as I said, you know, his pace, he's always going to be hard to take on, isn't he, Johnny Lecco? Especially with Richard Wood being a little bit older, not as quick as Richard Wood, but very tenacious tackle. Literally took him down with his arms by his leg. And that'll be the 7th yellow card of the season for Richard Wood as we go into the final 25 minutes. I wonder whether maybe Paul Warne will be thinking about making a change at the back. We've got Angus MacDonald potentially injured, and then the other two centre-backs on yellow cards. I wonder if Birmingham can maybe see if they can rattle the Rotherham back line and get a few of those players geared up and maybe see if they can get one of them sent off or with an injury. As apparently the race is starting at 2 o'clock. They'll go live straight afterwards. That's all good. Just go live whenever you need to, mate. You can do 2 streams at once. You know how it works. But 23 minutes left here. Was a free kick actually in that build-up for Birmingham City, and it was a really bad ball put in. Don't know where the ball was aimed to. I think they were trying to flick it towards the near post for Lukas Djuktovic to head on, but just didn't get anything in the end. And I would like to see Rotherham make some changes now, I'm not going to lie. Although saying that, chance here for Ladapo. And I think the ball is going to have to play here for a corner. And this is the first little chance that Rotherham have had for the last 5 or 10 minutes. Not really been many chances for Rotherham in the last 5 or 10, but apparently Rowan's saying what a boring game. It's not been a boring game, I would disagree. It's not had many chances, but let's be honest, in any relegation 6-pointer, it's always going to be a tight game. It's always going to be a tight game. And it's not boring if he's still in it, as Rotherham have a corner, which is lofted in, comes towards Richard Wood, doesn't get to him in the end, and will be a chance here maybe for Clark Robertson to get this ball into the box again. Flick towards Crooks. He tries to get it to ENQUIRIES in the box as Joel Evans is in the building saying, come on, Rotherham, you'll love to see it. And now here's Ladapo, flicks it into the box. It was a really good touch from him, but the cross was way too heavy and hit with some venom, and there's no one there in the end. And you think in that situation, had Michael Smith been in the right position, he would have definitely have got his head onto that and maybe have put Rotherham into the lead. But 20 minutes left. I think it was Ihikwe actually going to the near post. Really good touch from Ladapo. And it was Ihikwe, yeah, and just couldn't get a touch in the end. As hopefully we can have a grandstand 20 minutes left on the clock. Can Birmingham have a shot on target? I think as it stands, we've still not had a shot on target for Birmingham in this game. I am checking. Yep, we still haven't had a shot on target for Birmingham. Rotherham with 2. There's a chance here maybe for Rotherham to come forward again here. Going to be a foul by Ivan Sunjic. And Rotherham with the free kick in their own half as we'll see the first change of the night. And I think Scott Hogan. Is that Scott Hogan coming on, I think, for a bit more pace? No, it's not. It's going to be Ivan Sanchez coming on for Riley McGree. So, a few decent chances in the game for McGree. He had one little opportunity, which was a shot, I think, from just the outside of the box. It was a really weak one, and I think had he got some power on it, maybe he might have been able to have got something in the game. But Ivan Sanchez coming on, one of the Spaniards from the million Spaniards that Aitor Karanka signed at the beginning of the season. He's probably one of them. As Rotherham here are going to get a throw-in. And you know what that means. Long throwing technique for Rotherham as well. And the centre-backs are up, including Angus MacDonald, who seems to be okay now, which is good to see. And in fact, they're not actually going to go for the long throwing technique here. Ball flicked into the box. Comes towards Ladapo. And it's another chance there. It was actually Michael Smith, I think, who actually got a touch in the end. And I think Freddie Ladapo was actually wanting to get a header on that ball, but Smith gets the touch in the end, and I think that will go out of play for a goal kick. And just seeing it, Clark Robertson with the ball in, and in the end Ladapo did go for it, but it won't come to anything, and that will be a goal kick for Birmingham with 20 minutes left on the clock here. And time is running out for Rotherham United to get 3 points in this game. Time is running out for Birmingham to get an all-important 3 points. As Rotherham are going to get a throw in here. And Wes Harding, former Birmingham man, will be the man to take the throw. And I would really, really, really like to see some changes soon, Paul Warren. I'd like to see a few plays come on. I don't know why we're now in the 70th minute and he's not made a change. I think we are at that stage of the match as a Millers fan where we're getting a little bit tired. Although in the last 10 minutes we've had 81% of the ball in Birmingham's half. I would like to see a little bit of pace on the pitch. Maybe someone like a Ladapo or an Ogbene or a Sadlier just to come on and really give Birmingham a go. A bit of extra pace to test that back three. But we know what Paul Warren's like. He'll probably not make a change to the last 2 seconds and give these players a bit of a cameo appearance as Birmingham look to come forward again. Might actually be a chance for Ivan Sanchez to get the ball, which he doesn't. But Clark Robertson's going to get the ball back. And maybe here, Rotherham United have another chance to come forward. Ball towards Freddie Ladapo, turns his man. Could be a good chance here for Rotherham United to come forward. He's a 4-on-2, and he really needs numbers forward. And he didn't in the end, and Ivan Sunjic does very well to get the ball back. And now there's a chance here for Birmingham City to hit on the break. It's going to be Jonathan Lecco on the right wing. Takes on his man and does very well. Oh, he's brilliant from Lecco. He takes the shot on. Brilliant sliding tackle from Crooks. Ivan Sunjic tries to get it towards Djuktovic. Great defending from Lewis Wing and Wood, who clear the danger. And that was a real opportunity there for Birmingham to take the lead. And it was Jonathan Lecco who, as I said, it was up against Wood there, and it was really important that Wood just stayed on his feet and didn't go down, or else he probably would have got a second yellow and been sent off there. But he does really well in the end, the veteran, to mark his man. It'll be a Birmingham corner here, which is headed away by Clark Robertson, and then smashed on the volley by Seddon. But it lacked any control and precision, and it goes high and wide over the bar as Rotherham live to fight another day. As we hit the 74th minute of this match, or about to hit the 74th minute at the very least. As Lee, not Gary, Lee Boyer stands on the touchline, and he'll be thinking, I mean, a point's not too bad. Birmingham on quite a decent unbeaten streak right now. I think this would be 4 games or 5 where they haven't actually lost. So to get that type of form going at the end of the season is perfectly timed for Birmingham in their fight for survival. And Rotherham, they need something like that. But look, with some of the games coming up next, they've got Middlesbrough, they've got Barnsley, they've got Brentford. It's a case of getting these results on the board now. So when we do go to those other games where you're playing teams who are much higher up in the table, that it's always going to be hard to get points against teams like Barnsley, Brentford. And you just want to get points now to keep yourself in there with the rest of the pack. But 15 minutes left here. Make the changes, Paul Warne, please. It'd be nice to make some changes. As I said, it's that stage now where I'm thinking, let's get some extra boys on the pitch, a bit more pace, which would be very nice. But I don't think we are. We're going to get any changes. As Nathan Jones is in the stands today, the Luton Town manager. I think Birmingham have got Luton next. Either that or there's a bit of scouting going on as Birmingham come forward here. It's Ivan Sanchez at the edge of the box. Now into the other Ivan, which is Sunjic, the Croatian. As Birmingham now starting to rally a few attempts forward on goal. But it hasn't come to anything. And another chance that goes wide of the mark. As time is ticking for both teams to get a goal. Is this going to be the second goalless watch-along on the channel? Is it going to be a 0-0 again? We saw yesterday, KL with the MLS watch-along got a 0-0. Not the greatest game, from what I heard. Is it going to be the same tonight? Or this afternoon with this Rotherham match? Is this going to be a long throw in here by Roberts? Into the box. Taken on the volley by Sunjic. Ladapo's got the ball back here. There's a few calls for a handball, which the referee has given it as a handball. And it'll be a free kick for Birmingham. As Freddie Ladapo, not many protests from him. But yeah, it was the right decision in the end to give it as a handball. And it would have been a good chance there maybe for Rotherham to hit on the break. Michael Smith was on the run there, but in the end, chance now for Birmingham from the free kick. A little bit further out than the one we saw earlier. But I would assume Gary Gardner would be one of the players stood over this. Oh, they're saying that. It's actually a little bit too far out to be hitting this. So it's going to be taken short into Maxime Collin, who lofts the ball into the box. Could be a brilliant cross in, and it is. And it's a quality save from Victor Johansson. And that is the first save that Victor Johansson has had to make in this game. And it was Lukas Juktovic, the man who has scored a hat-trick against Rotherham in the past. Funnily enough, the only team he's ever scored a hat-trick against is Rotherham United. And it's such a good ball from Maxime Collin towards the near post. And Lukas Juktovic gets his hand onto it. But a good save from Victor Johansson, who's not had much to do in this game. He's been kept fairly quiet. As Birmingham here are going to get another corner in this game. And just starting to rally some pressure on Rotherham United now with 13 minutes left on the clock. Come on, Rotherham. We want something in this game. As we said earlier, Rotherham conceded the second most corners in the league. They've conceded 12. Bristol City only with more with 13, as there could be a chance here for Birmingham City to capitalise on that. But they won't, because Lewis Wing clears it away, and there'll be another corner again for Birmingham. And I assume this time they'll be going for an in-swinging ball. Been trying to hit him low a few times, Birmingham, in this match, and it's not worked as well. But going to play it short this time. It's going to be Ivan Sanchez on the wing. Plays it towards Maxime Collin. Flicks the ball in. Pedersen gets a slight touch on the ball. Ivan Sanchez keeps it in play, but it will actually go out of play in the end. And, well, Lukas Juktovic does actually put the ball in the back of the net, but the referee, of course, had blown his whistle about 10 seconds ago, and I think he was just putting that in the back of the net for a bit of practice, because they've not really had much to do, have they, Birmingham, in terms of attacks. It has been a little bit poor from them in terms of the attacking side. I really thought we were going to struggle today against Juktovic, but he's not really had many opportunities, has he? As we go into the final 12 minutes. And still no changes for Rotherham. And I think, has Angus MacDonald gone down again? No, it's Richard Wood this time who's gone down. Bit of clash of heads there. As we are going to get a change, I think, for Rotherham soon. I bloody hope we do. But yeah, I think we've got to see some changes now. As Osti van Osterman's in the building. How are we doing, my friend? Happy birthday as well. Hope you've had a good birthday. And you're all good. As we... the darts is back tomorrow. We love to see it. Got to get the drinks in. Got to go to Morrison's and get some drinks tomorrow. Because it's going to be hectic. With all of the darts going on. But Richard Wood down here. We had that stopping play twice, didn't we, for Angus MacDonald. So I think we're going to get a fair whack of additional time. Maybe like 4 or 5 minutes, I would assume, as we are going to get changes now. And we're going to get 3 changes for Rotherham. So first change is George Hurst for Ladapo, which is a shame. I hope George Hurst proves me wrong, but apparently I think George Hurst hasn't had a shot on target in his career at Rotherham. So that tells you what I think of him. Let's hope he can change that. Just needs a bit of a confidence boost. Ben Wiles will also come on. Sean McDonald coming off. He's had a good game today, Sean McDonald. Played really well in terms of breaking up the play. So Ben Wiles will come on. And then the final change of the match, I think he's going to see Jamie Lindsay come on. And Jamie Lindsay will be coming on here for Clark Robertson. So some good changes for Rotherham. A lot of changes in the midfield. A bit more creativity in there. George Hurst on as well. I would have liked to have seen one of the wingers come on. Maybe someone like an Ogbeni or a Sadlier. But I'm not going to lie. I think Paul One's got a vendetta against actual wingers as we go into the last 10 minutes. As Rotherham look to push for all important 3 points. But we're still going to have an interval in play as Richard Wood is still down. As Osti van Osterman says, all good thanks. Birthday's been good so far, which is fantastic to hear. Can't wait for the darts tomorrow. I got a new dartboard for my birthday. Did you get a new one? I have, yes. I got a new one. I got a Winmau Pro SFB board. Got it 2 days ago. So I got a new board. I'm going to get some Gary Anderson darts, I think, very soon. But I've got a pretty average dart set for now that I can use. And yeah, going to get some new darts. Get a new webcam as well. And hopefully we can stream me being absolutely shite at the darts at some point. But very happy to have a new board because that last board was an absolute state. So I got rid of it. Straight in the bin that went. As hopefully we can have some. Hopefully we can have some good games tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Should be a good week. Should be a very good week. You know what it's like whenever the darts is on. Always good fun. I got to win my one as well. But I was going to go for a unicorn one, but I thought, you know, I'm going to try a different Winmau one. And hopefully it doesn't turn out the same way as what the other board did. I mean, I'm hoping it's maybe just a case of the last board was a bit shit. And this one is alright. But let's hope that this one lasts me more than a few months. Because that board that I got, I think I got a few months before Christmas. So it lasted me about 4 or 5 months, which isn't too bad, but for a dartboard, that's not good enough. Should be lasting much longer than that. I'm hoping this dartboard can last me a long time, fingers crossed. But 8 minutes left here. We are now back underway with the rest of the game. I assume, as I said, we'll probably get a good chunk of additional time, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, as Rotherham looks to come forward here. And they really, really need to get something in this game. Come on, Rotherham, we want a goal. But here's a chance for Birmingham to come forward. Gary Gardner coming forward. Plays it into Seddon. Flicks a ball into the box. It's a really high ball in the end. And somehow, Maxime Collins got the ball here. He's going to take on his man. Really good work from the Frenchman. Flicks a ball in, but good defending in the end by Richard Wood, who can just clear his lines. And Rotherham United here with 6 minutes left. They need to get something in this game. And here come Rotherham. Chance now for Michael Smith. George Hurst in the box. Can take on his man. Flicks the ball in. Doesn't come to any for one. But it will come to Lewis Wing, who takes on long range effort. And well, it was a speculative effort from Lewis Wing. But in the end, a man who has scored plenty of long range efforts in the past, Lewis Wing. Scored a few long range efforts for Middlesbrough, in his career. Just wasn't able to score a long-range effort here. And I mean, if that had gone in, there would have been absolute limbs in this room. Would have been a fantastic way to have maybe won the match. But look, always flying that one, never really dipping down. And Lewis Wing hasn't actually scored for Rotherham yet, which is a shame. I think he's definitely deserved a goal in his time here. But maybe he can get himself on the score sheet before the end of the season. Maybe even in this game. As we go into the last 6 minutes. And, I mean, when you actually look at the stats of this game overall, it has been a game where Rotherham should have probably had a goal. 16 shots, 2 on target. Birmingham, 12 shots, only 1 on target. It's a very even game. But I do think Rotherham have had a lot of chances that they should have probably taken. As Birmingham, I think, are going to get a free kick here. Michael Ihikwe pulling one of the players down. Referee going to give him the benefit of the doubt, as he is already on a yellow card. And Tony Stewart watching on. The Rotherham chairman and owner. This man has been through a lot with the club. And he'll be hoping that this season doesn't end in turmoil with a relegation. And if his side can get 3 points on the board with 6 minutes left, then it will be a little bit of joy. But Birmingham free kick to defend here for Rotherham United. And a chance for Seddon to flick the ball in. It's a really good ball, but straight into the hands of Johansson. And he was looking to hit on the break fairly quickly there, the Swede goalkeeper. But he's just going to keep it in his hands instead. And another chance for Birmingham. Doesn't come to anything. As I'd really like a goal, please, for Rotherham. I mean, a point, as I said, a point's not great. But a point does move you a step closer to survival. With Derby County only winning 1 in their last 11, we would be 3 points off them. Which wouldn't be too bad. But if you could be 1 point off them, then it's even better. As we go into the last 5 minutes with no doubt quite a bit of stoppage time to come from 2 of the Miller injuries. And there's not a convincing clearance there from Birmingham. And it's going to be Michael Smith who gets the ball back here. Plays it into Crooks. Overlapping run from, I think it was Ihikwe. And here he is. On the ball now, on the right wing. Crooks flicks a ball in. Terrible cross in the end. And I would like to see maybe 2 more changes for the Millers. Maybe bring 2 more players on for the last 5 minutes. But yeah, some players getting a bit tired now, you think. We've seen Rotherham play, 4 games in the last 8 days. They've just got to keep themselves going here and make sure that they can use every last bit of energy in the tank. Make sure that they don't slip up in these final few minutes. The last thing they want to do is let Birmingham City get a late goal in this game and win the match. As Wing looks to drive Rotherham forward, and the ball in the end doesn't come to anything. And I think might be a Birmingham throw in here, which it is indeed, as Wood just clears the ball out of play. And he'll be hoping that Rotherham can hold on. It's risk against reward now. Who wants the 3 points? Which side is going to try and push for a late winner? We always expected a game like this to be scrappy and to be very nerve-wracking, as I think Scott Hogan is ready to come on. Top scorer, actually, the same for Birmingham with 7 goals. And they're actually going to make another change as well, I think. I think Bellas might be coming on as well. So Birmingham bringing on a few extra players to see if they can go and win it, which is completely fair. Rotherham already bringing on 3 players a few moments ago. They'll have 2 more substitutions if they need it, which I thought maybe would have been used. But here come Birmingham. It's going to be Ivan Sunjic. Ball into the box. Comes towards Pedersen. And it's a brilliant chance. And it's a goal for Birmingham. And it's a fantastic header from Harley Dean. And the captain, with 2 minutes left on the clock, might have just given Birmingham the biggest victory of the season. And it's Harley Dean with a fantastic header. And again, it's another centre-back with a brilliant header in back-to-back games. And Birmingham City, with 2 minutes left on the clock, as they were just about to make substitutions to bring on players to try and win this game, get a goal. And it's a fantastic header from Harley Dean. It's up against Michael Ihikwe, and we've just seen it back again. It's just a slight header. I think it was from Roberts, who gets the touch. Brilliant header from Harley Dean. It actually comes off Michael Ihikwe. A slight touch from him. And in the end, Birmingham, with 1 minute and 20 left, put Rotherham 1-0 down. And what a massive 3 points that could be for Birmingham City. And heartbreak for Rotherham, who are now going to have to, with what, I think about 5 minutes left of the game, I would say, they'll have a little bit of additional time, need to try and get something in this game and fast. Now you'd be saying as a Millers fan, you'd take a point. we need something quick though. Here comes Crooks. Trying to do a 1-2 with Lindsay. Doesn't come to anything in the end. And I mean, if Birmingham could get a second here and kill the game off, then it would be quite a disappointing... I mean, it is a disappointing result anyway, but you'd be quite frustrated. As I think we are going to have those changes now for Birmingham. So Scott Hogan was one of the players coming on. And, well, he might not be needed as much as he was a few minutes ago. But Harper will be coming on as well. So 2 changes for Birmingham. I would have liked to have seen Paul Warne maybe bring on 2 of the players now. You've got a few minutes left in this game to try and get something. And it'd be interesting to see how much additional time we get. I would assume around about 5 minutes is my prediction for the amount of additional time in this game. But we said it. At the end of the day, one team had to gamble and go for the goal. And we've got 6 minutes of additional time in this game. So maybe an opportunity for Rotherham to get an equaliser or Birmingham to hold on for the victory. But both teams, they had to go for it. They had to push. And Birmingham have done exactly that. And Rotherham United now will find themselves still 4 points away from Derby County. But with only 2 games in hand. Birmingham 9 points away from the relegation zone. And as I said earlier, with the way that Birmingham have been this season, I just can't see them getting relegated now. As we see that goal back again. And it's just a real shame for Ihikwe. He gets that slight touch. But if I'm being honest with you, I think if Ihikwe hadn't have got his touch anyway, I think that would have gone in from Harley Dean. But another centre-back coming up against Rotherham and scoring. And it was a really, really good goal in the end as we go to the final 5 minutes of this game. And Rotherham will get a free kick in their own half. And they've got to send every man forward now. And no doubt there will be a lot of people shouting tonight for maybe Paul Warne to get booted out of the club with the way that Rotherham fans have been this season. I think that Paul Warne will be very, very disappointed with how this game has gone. I think Rotherham being it for pretty much all the game apart from that one chance. But I said it before, you can have 50, 100, 200 chances in a game and miss them all. The opposition can have one chance and score, but look, Birmingham, they've had a lot of chances themselves. I think they had 14 before the goal, so they've had the chances, and they've finally taken one. And Rotherham here with 4 minutes left. I think he barely had a touch of the ball in this additional time, although they've got the ball back here. It's Wes Harding. Really needs to get this up the pitch. Here's Lindsay. Now into Smith. Heavy ball, and a shit ball into Ben Wiles, and it's out of play. And 4 minutes left here, and that's an awful ball from Smith. As I don't think we will be seeing any changes from Paul Warne, but as the table stands, Rotherham United on 39 points, 22nd. Birmingham on 18th, on 48 points. Massive gap for them now, and you'd think they'd be safe as we go into the final 3 minutes of this match. But Rotherham still got time, 3 minutes. Although, as I said, with the way that additional time has been, it'd be nice if they get a touch of the ball. Here's Ihikwe into Wes Harding. Need to have a big moment in the game now. Here's Ihikwe. Tries to flick the ball, and it will be a Rotherham throw-in, and it will be Wes Harding who takes this. And this has got to be the perfect long throw-in. As the centre-backs come up. Please, Wes Harding, give us the best long throw you've ever had. Oh, he's playing it short. Brilliant. Wow. But Lindsay will whip it in. And it will be a free kick from Crooks. What's he doing there? I thought we were going to get a corner there for Rotherham. Everidge had missed the ball, but the referee's actually going to give a foul from Crooks, which is probably right. But I don't know what he's doing there, Crooks. Which is a very bit frustrating. And look, 2.5 minutes left now. I think Birmingham will have the victory in the bag. I'm not going to lie, and fair play to them. I think they've played pretty decent in this game. As I said, you've got to make the most of your chances when they come. They've had not a great deal of chances on target, but they have taken them. And 2 shots on target, 2 goals. That's the important thing. They've took it. And I think that's the problem with Rotherham. They just haven't got good enough players, in my opinion, in some areas, to take on some of these sides. Although, look, it could have been a much different story. That Michael Smith chance, for example, had he taken that and it been back of the net, could have been 1-0 Rotherham. A very different game. But we go into the last minute and 50 seconds. If you Lee Bowyer, you're absolutely buzzing because you might have just kept Birmingham up. And look, there's a long way still to go. I think they've got 6 games left of the season, Birmingham. Anything can happen. But 9 points to drop minimum, without the rest of the pack picking up points at the bottom end of the table, is always going to be hard. And there's a chance here for Scott Hogan, but he just can't get a touch of the ball, and that would have been a real opportunity to make it 2 as Rotherham go long. And they really need to keep this ball in play, which they don't. And this has been terrible. And George Hurst, who, I mean, he's completely void on the pitch. Hasn't really done anything since coming on in this game, which is typical George Hurst, if I'm being honest with you. As George Friend is going to come on. And also going to bring on Sam Cosgrove here for the last minute, just to reassure the back line. And surely now, Birmingham City here will be taking the 3 points home, unless Rotherham can have one more chance, and they've not even had a chance in additional time. So we're dreaming. Here is Wiles with an absolutely shitty ball, and Seddon clears away. And I think we will see those changes now take place for Birmingham. So 2 changes here, as Paul Warne decides not to use his 5 subs, and I'm sick of him not doing that. I think he should probably use the 5 subs in the end, and he hasn't. As Lukas Djuktovic will come off, and you can see his shirt is ripped. Been a bit of a scrappy, gritty game, this one. But a good performance in the end, as Birmingham City has certainly played well enough to get the 3 points here. And we are now into the 96th minute, and I think there'll probably be about, 30 seconds maybe of the game, if the referee allows play to continue on. I mean, as a Rotherham fan, I think that is probably us over. I mean, we've got a tough run coming up. Middlesbrough, Brentford, we've got Barnsley, we've got Luton, we've got Cardiff. So we've got a lot of tough teams to face, especially up at the top end of the table. And look, for all we know, we could go from this Birmingham City game, lose it, and then next week pick up a 1-0 win against Middlesbrough. You just don't know. That's the way Rotherham tend to usually play. They pick up points in the most random of points, but at the end of the day, I mean, when you look at the actual games they've got as a whole, it's going to be very, very hard to pick up points anywhere for the rest of the season. I think probably the best bet is maybe the Luton game, but even then, Luton have been pretty brilliant this season. Barnsley, with it being a Yorkshire derby, as the referee blows his full-time whistle, and what a win for Birmingham City. And surely Lee Bowyer might have just saved his side from relegation. It has been a tough season if you're a Birmingham City fan, but what a win that is, with Harley Dean, your captain, in the last few minutes, getting yourself a brilliant goal in the end. And Rotherham United, who had to go out there and get the 3 points in this game, they just couldn't get anything. They had their chances, they had their moments, they just couldn't take them. And in the end, Birmingham City find themselves now 9 points away from the bottom 3. Rotherham United, they're 4 points away from safety with 2 games in hand. But look, this was a big game for Rotherham, and they've let themselves down again, which is just usual Rotherham for you. But what a win for Lee Bowyer, and what a result for Birmingham, who can certainly find themselves in a much better position in terms of the Championship survival. So as I said before, when you look at the table now, Rotherham will stay on 39 points, 22nd place. Birmingham will actually move into 17th place on 48 points. 18th place on 48 points. And they are looking pretty much safe. As for Wednesday and Wycombe, big massive positive for Wednesday, although they are still 2 games in hand behind Rotherham. Wycombe could actually be relegated by the end of this week, depending on results elsewhere. Wednesday could also be relegated as well. It depends on what happens in the other games for the likes of Derby and Rotherham. So yeah, not the greatest of results in the world for Rotherham, but a very deserved win for Birmingham, who have scrapped hard at the back end of the season for results. And what work Lee Bowyer has done at the club. He has certainly turned their fortunes around, and now they could potentially maybe even push up towards the middle section of the table, depending on what happens, especially with the likes of Bristol and Preston not being too good in the last few weeks. they might be able to just push up the table a little bit more in the next few days. And talking about the next few days, here's a look at some of the content to come on the channel over the next week on the channel. Of course, you've just watched the Rotherham United Birmingham City game. I don't think you need to see any of that again if you're a Rotherham fan. But don't worry, because coming up very shortly, Rowan will be live with the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. That'll be coming up very shortly. You might be live now. I don't know, probably soon. But that's the F1. And then later tonight, you can join Kale, Inter Miami taking on LA Galaxy. He'll be live from around about 8 o'clock. I think kickoff might be 20 past 8. Just keep F5 in the channel and you'll find out. Premier League of Darts, I'll be back tomorrow night 6, 10 past 7. Can't wait for that full week of action. That's me live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Going to be brilliant with all of the darting action. And then don't forget, on Wednesday, there are 4 Bundesliga fixtures going on. You can join the rest of the Sports Corner team live for the Matchday 30 Goals show. That does include Wolfsburg, Dortmund and Gladbach all in action. So we should have some very, very good games on the board indeed. If you haven't checked out our social media, as always, please don't forget to do so. Our Twitter is at @the_top corner. And our Instagram is _sports corner _. Do go and check those out. It'd be greatly appreciated to do so. And of course, if you do check those out, you'll always be able to keep up to date. And when we do go live as well, check it out as our website, which is thesports-corner.com. Do go and check that out as always. Well worth checking that out indeed. We'll have new articles available all the time, including keeping you up to date with all of the latest in the NFL draft, which will be starting in the very near future. So yeah, that is the action done for me. Very, very unfortunate in the end. Cal saying, sorry your team lost. Hopefully they can win their 2 games in hand. Won't be able to join Rome for the F1 is going into town soon. But we'll see Kyle later for the MLS. Have a good day all. Thank you very much, Kyle. Do have a good day. And then Bernardo saying, rough game. It was. But do you know what? At the end of the day, all you've just got to do is smile. Unless you're a Rotherham fan, you don't smile. No, as I said, do stick around on the channel. Ron will be up in literally about 2 seconds with the F1 Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And a little bit later tonight, KL will be live with some MLS action. Let's hope there's some goals for him. But as for now, I hope you have a fantastic morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Don't forget to leave a like and subscription if you haven't already. And I'll see you tomorrow night for the darts. Let's go. See you later.